You know that feeling when you open your inbox and find another Google review from a happy client? Well, we feel the same way when our listeners leave a review on Apple Podcasts for our show.
It's honestly so helpful because reviews give you the words straight from your client's mouth that impacts the way you run your business going forward. And the same is true for us.
Yeah, when we read your reviews, it helps us understand what you love and what you want more of, which makes the show better in return. And really, everyone wins here.
So before you listen to today's episode, could you take 1 minute and leave us a 5-star review and tell us one thing you're loving about the show? We promise we'll be here ready to chat when you're done.
And after leaving that review, make sure you screenshot it and send it to support@modernagentsocialclub.com with your mailing address, because we have a fun little surprise for you as a way to say thank you.
XOXO, the marketing girls. Tell your broker to come and talk to us. I'll give you my cell phone number.
Yeah.
I don't make cocktails. I only drink one.
I don't either.
I'm like, if you're making a
Jack and Coke, that's an easy
okay,
one.
Jack and Coke, like
mostly Coke. Now that I've officially opened up the Taylor Swift floodgates, I'm going to just keep letting this roll, okay? How do I get more leads?
how do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are 2 agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market, all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go. Hi, Kayla.
Hey, Chelsea. Welcome back to another episode of the Modern Agent Marketing Girls podcast. It feels like it's been a while for us actually recording.
I was literally just dusting off my mic.
I know. For those who are listening, we usually try to record several weeks in advance so that we're never falling behind and we're staying on top of all the other things that our work involves. But yeah, I don't know what's happened. Well, it's summer and that's what's happened. Kids are home and that is what's happened on my end.
All the pre-recorded episodes made their way onto the podcast apps, and now we are back to recording. However, I was telling my husband that I feel like I don't like how far we were in advance in a way, because I felt so disconnected from the episode by the time it aired that I was like, I don't even remember recording that. I mean, like, things would come back as I would listen, but as it was coming up, I was like, I don't even know what we talked about in that episode.
Yes.
So I feel like at recording once a week gets us in a good rhythm that we're kind of like close to what's happening, but we're still getting ourselves ahead.
Yeah. See, I laugh because when I listen to the episode shortly after we've recorded, I like cringe at like everything that I say, the sound of my voice, like my laugh, all the things. But when it's been a while, I'm like, that was really good information. Or like, that was really helpful.
We are very judgmental of ourselves right off the bat. Like, I'll leave an episode and be like, oh my gosh, that was terrible. Yeah. I feel like I need to like wake up more or whatever. And then I listen and I'm like, oh, that's kind of good.
Yes. Okay. I heard this trick. Do you want to know this trick?
I love tricks.
I heard it was on Amy Porterfield's podcast, and I forget, she had a guy on. I forget what his name was. Colin something? Do you know what I'm talking
about? Colin Boyd.
Yes. So I think it was him. He gave this trick where he was like, okay, let's do this together. Okay. He said, take 3 deep breaths and like close your eyes. So just like breathe in, breathe out. Everyone who's listening, you need to do it too. Yeah, we're going to do it right now.
All right,
okay?
Everyone listening. Okay.
Deep breaths. In and out. Okay. Now I want you to open your eyes and look around the room and name 3 colors that you see.
Red, purple, pink.
Okay. I see green, white, and purple. Okay. Now I want to ask you, what's going on in your brain right now? Is it nothing? Because it's supposed to be nothing.
The thing, I didn't know what you were going to ask. So the first thing I saw was the book on my bookshelf, The Christmas Tree Farm.
Yeah.
Those really dirty books that we keep bringing into the podcast. And so that was in my brain. And I was like, am I meant to talk about that right now? I don't know.
That's so funny. Well, he had Amy do this trick on her podcast. And she was like, I feel like it's not, my answer is nothing, but I feel like that's the wrong answer. And he was like, no, it's supposed to be nothing. He's like, that's the best way to like clear your brain and like start over. Because he said sometimes before like a podcast episode or before a listing appointment or whatever, we feel like we have to like cram all this information in our
Mhm.
brains that we're really fresh when
Don't
really,
forget it. Hold on to everything.
yes. But instead, it's best just to like take a deep breath, clear your head, because everything that you are going in there with like to talk about, you already know. Like you have it all down. So don't try to cram all this extra information.
Oh
So
my gosh, we should do
there's
that
your little
every
trick.
episode before we record. My answer was nothing, but I was like, I don't know. Like that's what I see.
Chelsea's always thinking about dirty books.
I should
I
really
love
change up
it.
my end cap on my bookshelf so that it's not a Christmas book right now, but
No,
whatever.
I think it's really good. Um, okay, we are almost. Did you know? Okay, we're almost 20,000 downloads in. I think that we're there now by the time of this is going. Just so fun. But I feel like we've got so many new listeners and we have not like reintroduced ourselves or like gone over a little bit. Like people might be listening being like, who the heck are these girls? So
Who
do you
is
want to
who?
Yeah. So do you want to give like a 30-second trailer on who you are, Chelsea?
Sure, I should really write this down so it's really good. But I'm Chelsea Peterson, and I was a real estate agent for 7 years in a small Wisconsin town. And I decided to start Modern Agent Social Club after just years of seeing agents get out of the industry like a revolving door, and at the basically expense of all of the outdated, draining, icky marketing tactics that the industry pushed on you. And I thought, like, my thought was, I thought we were getting in this to do this our own way. I thought this is our own business. I'm fully responsible for my income. So I should fully be in charge of how I operate, right? Minus obviously following rules of NAR and whatever. But besides that, just like how I market, how I talk to my clients, how I run my systems, and I really carved my own path. I built a referral based business and I wanted to help other people do it too in a way that felt fun and also made you like obsessed with your business, not made you hate your business or dread it. And I know, like, digital marketing. When I say digital marketing, social media, email marketing, those two combined, not just one or the other, is really my method. And I wanted to just show people what was possible. And 7 years later, Modern Agent Social Club turned 7 on May 2nd. And since then, I've gotten married. I got married the year I launched the business, which is crazy, and had a son who is now going to be 3 on Halloween, Henry. And we still live in Wisconsin in a small town. And what else do I want to share? My approach, this is my last thing. My approach has always been, I like to market in a way that feels like you're having a glass of wine with a friend. So like, I want to sit down with you and have any beverage of your choice, but feel comfortable and approachable and like you're getting the best advice you possibly could, not being sold to, because sales shouldn't feel like you're selling. And that is what we're here for. So that is, I think, enough about me. I love it. Let me do a couple more things. My favorite podcast is Giggly Squad. I'm obsessed with reality TV, which has only been like the last 2 years. I love iced coffee. We love doing like iced coffee dates with my family. And we have a farm with chickens.
You do. You have a sweet farm. I love it so much. That's like a really great preview. If no one's ever listened before, that's like exactly who Chelsea Peterson is. Well, I am Kayla Fox, and I live in Indiana, and I got my real estate license. I don't even know how long ago now, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But before that, I was a hairstylist for like 12, 13 years, and actually did that out of my home by the time that my first baby was born. So I'm married to a football coach and we got 4 kids. When the first baby was born, I was like, I don't want to like get a babysitter all the time. I want to be able to have him here. And that was all well and good until I was pregnant with baby number 4 and I had 3 toddlers running around and I was like, I just can't. And so I actually started a t-shirt shop where I made like spirit wear for coaches' wives and like I did all of that online. And that's where I really like fell in love with marketing. Before that, with doing hair, I still did that, but I very quickly got booked out. And so I wasn't really trying to get new business anymore. But through my other business, I was able to just learn so much about like how to speak to people, how to relate to people and all of that. And then over time, I just started feeling this pull towards real estate. My mom was a real estate agent my whole life. My parents have like been in construction, real estate, flipping houses, all the things my whole life. And I literally grew up Saturday mornings, my dad would knock on our door and be like, all right, we're going to go paint trim. And we'd pick up a box of donuts and go paint some trim. So that was like my whole life. And yeah, so then when I got my real estate license, I kind of was feeling like almost like a fraud. Like, I am all over the place. I cannot make up my mind what I want to do. Why can't, like, all my other friends, like, got their degree and then stuck with it? Why am I doing all these things? But over time, I really just learned, like, it's all about people. Like, I love people. I'm not one of those people that's like, ugh, like, conversations, like, gross. I'm like, I want to have everyone over. I want to get to know everybody. I want to talk to everyone. And my husband's the same way. And so, like, we're just a super, like, social family. And yeah, so then when I really realized, like, oh, the main reason that I'm really liking real estate is because I'm liking marketing and I'm liking talking to people. I'm liking getting out in my local community and all of that. I discovered Modernington Social Club and joined, and literally would sit on my couch every Saturday morning, or every morning, not every Saturday morning, every morning, and my kids would watch, like, Paw Patrol, and I would get on my phone and edit a post and post it because that was literally, like, all I had in me. But somehow I was able to still sell, like, 7 or 8 houses that first year and a couple more the next year, and I remember just thinking, like, "Okay, this really works," and, like, again, fell in love with the marketing even more than real estate. So, thankfully, within just a few months, Chelsea was looking for a content creator, and I hopped on ship and have been here ever since. So, as far as, like, things I like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a very uninteresting person. I love reading.
That's what everyone thinks.
I know, I know. I do love reading. I like reading books for myself for sure, but I've really fallen in love with reading with my kids now that my kids are a little bit older. My oldest is now 12. And so we went through, like, Emptying in the Cupboard and all the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the C.S. Lewis books, The
I can't
Wizard of
wait to do
Oz.
that.
Oh my gosh, it's been so fun. We just read a new one called A Place to Hang the Moon and The Wild Robot. I mean, all of these books, like, the whole series, like, it's been so cool to read with them. And my youngest is only 6, and so he's a little bit more, like, chaotic during that time, but, like, it's just been really fun. So we do that, and then obviously go to a ton of football games, have the football staff over a lot, and yeah.
Disney?
Disney World, we love going to Disney World. We are irresponsible with our money in that way, but you know what? We're like, we may as well have fun. And I will say, here's not a fun fact, but here's something interesting. My husband's parents both died within a year of each other shortly after we got married. And they were the type of people who worked really hard their whole life to save up for retirement. And then they literally never got to retire.
I have chills. It's so sad.
It was, and they were sick for a long time. And so, in some ways it can be a blessing in disguise, even though it's so hard. But I think because of that, both of us are like, we are not waiting to live our lives. Like, we're going to have fun now and yes, be responsible. But, like, I'm going to make as many memories with my kids as possible today. So.
I love that so much. I'm that person to a T, probably to a fault.
Yep,
sometimes where I'm like, take the trip, buy the shoes, and, like, don't regret it. Sometimes I regret the things I buy online, but I feel like I could do a whole series on things I buy online that I shouldn't have. But that's really doesn't fit my brand. And honestly, this all comes back to, like, I feel like those 2 short things tell a lot about us, but honestly, it's just a teeny splash. Just a teeny splash of who we are. Like, I didn't even get into my whole, like, why I got into real estate, student loan debacle, but that's another episode. But it's just like, that's what we're kind of talking about today is if you've ever felt like sharing your personality through your marketing feels like it makes your brand look unprofessional or feels like it's fluffy or like, why am I doing that? We want to talk about that topic and how honestly what it's doing is it's building trust. And that's the most important part of all of it is that you don't want to waste your time on marketing that's just taking up your time and keeping you busy. You want to focus your marketing time on things that build trust because no one wants to hire someone they don't trust. They're not going to hire you if they don't trust you, right? So let's get into, we have a lot to talk about today.
We have a lot. Okay, can I just say, we've had this question come up so many times. People are asking, like, okay, I'm starting to share my personality, but I'm feeling unprofessional, or I feel like I look chaotic or whatever, and, like, what's the balance? Or my broker wants me to look more professional. Like, what does this mean? So I actually took the time to look up what the definition of personality is anyway, right? Because I think that most people, when they think of personality, they think, like, really funny or, like, outgoing and, like, all these, like, big things, but really this is what it is. It says it's the unique and relatively stable patterns of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that characterize the way that an individual interacts with the world. So, like, that has nothing to do with humor. That has nothing to do with video or
Dancing.
being outgoing or being an introvert. Nothing. Yes, nothing. So I think that we have to, like, get clear on what it means when we're talking about like adding your personality to your brand.
I honestly think too that can really hold a lot of people up. And when you say it, or when you say like, "Oh, you need a personal brand," it feels like this big tall mountain that you're like, "How do I ever get to the top of this and figure out what that means for me?" Because there isn't a one size fits all answer, and that's what can make it feel like hard to tackle. And when the one word that stuck out to me in the definition of personality is the word pattern. And this word keeps coming up in our podcast and in our conversations with members and on trainings. Is It's more about the patterns of things that you're doing versus like the one post, the one email, the one story that you do. Like, it's in the pattern that creates this repetition in your brand. Even if you don't think you have a brand yet, you do. And when you repeat specific things, just like your personality, that's what makes this personality apparent in your brand versus always kind of thinking of like if you kind of try to take yourself out of our brains and put yourself into a brand new real estate agent, and you heard our podcast and like you didn't really listen yet, but you're like, the title was add your personality to your brand. Like, what do you think is going through their head?
I think they're thinking I'm not interesting or even what I said earlier, like, I don't know, like, what's interesting about me? And they're thinking like, yeah, but that has nothing to do with real estate. Like, I'm trying to post to get clients. I'm not trying to post to like get popularity or like find friends. So what is the point of that? But like, there are countless examples of how this works and why this works and why it's important.
I wrote this down because I like this, but what people are really looking for, because we have to like take it back to, okay, we're using this platform, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, email, whatever, to position ourselves as a real estate go to girl, guy, whatever. And if we're going to do that, what does that look like? And a lot of times we revert to, okay, we should share, real estate educational information. We should share how to buy a house. We should share all of these steps. But really what we need to do, like I said, is build trust. So I wrote this down. Here's what people are really looking for: someone who feels real. So, like, seeing a robotic account that feels like it's automated or feels like ChatGPT did that, or their social media manager put that there, or it's just hiding behind the graphics. Like, there's no one there that you feel like you can trust, right? The next thing is someone who sounds like a friend, not a sales pitch. Like, we run for the hills from a sales pitch, right? But we all want to buy. We want to buy the cute top. We want to buy the outdoor water table for the kids. We want to buy things. But when it's positioned as like, buy me, this is for sale, la la la. And what that looks like in real estate terms is like, who do you know looking to buy or sell? Call me if you need to buy, blah, blah, blah. Like, instead, how can we be a friend? So that's going back to like what I said about sitting down, having a glass of wine. My friend, in fact, just described it like this. He was hiring someone, and I said, like, how's it going? Did you hire him, whatever? And he said, yeah, he passed the beer test. And I said, what's the beer test? And he said he feels like the kind of person I would want to sit down and have a beer with. And that instantly gave me a feeling like I could trust him. And he's like, I do that with everyone I hire, whether it's a real estate agent, an insurance agent, whatever. He said, I want that feeling, because otherwise it feels like salesy, right? Like, it feels like the salesy thing. So like, if you took that into your social media like I did years and years ago with that glass of wine with a friend approach, you feel approachable and you feel like, okay, this is the girl I want to go sit down, let's have a cup of coffee, let me ask her opinion on, do you think I should sell right now? Do you think now's a good time for me to buy? Should I wait? Like, can we talk about this and get your true opinion? That's what you want people to feel like you're there for, not like billboard marketing, right? And then lastly, someone they can picture texting when they're finally ready to move or have a question about real estate. Can they picture you as the one they're texting saying like, "Oh my gosh, I hope we get this house," or like, "What do you think we should do?" Or, like, they want someone they can trust to text message that question to, not feel like they're bothering you or like you're too busy for them, or like, again, that unapproachable feeling.
Yeah. If you think about it this way, have you ever thought about how when you walk into Target, they don't have all of their stuff boxed up, just line like row after row after row, but they have things set out so you can feel them, you can touch them. You go to like their Hearth and Hand section or their Studio McGee section, they have chairs set out, they've got the rug down, like they have the patio umbrella hanging over. Like, you're getting immersed in like the culture of their brand, and you're sitting there thinking like, this is how I want to feel at home. Like, I need this chair. If they would stand there, even if, let's say that Target's prices were half as much as what they are now, I guarantee you they wouldn't sell near as much because people wouldn't have that experience in the store. And that's what we're trying to do. Like, yes, this is not in physical storefront, but it's your virtual storefront, and it's your opportunity to give people that like chance to immerse in your brand. One example, now that I've officially opened up the Taylor Swift floodgates, I'm going to just keep letting this roll, okay? Okay, Taylor Swift, one of the biggest like icons and singers and all of that of all time currently right now. What if she only shared her graphics about like her vocal warm-up methods or her songwriting methods? Or what if she only shared clips of her like singing in concert ever? Like, is that what people want? No. Like, we want the tea. Like, we want like, what are her cats doing today? What sports
We
bra
want
is she
Travis.
wearing? Yeah, exactly. Like, we want all those things. We want to know whether they're eating, what she's wearing, where they're going. And do any of those things imply that we don't take her seriously as a professional? No. Like, but you also, here's what happens. You're going to have people who follow her just because they just love her music. They don't really care too much about her. They just really love her music. You're going to have people who follow her who love both. And you're going to have people who follow her just because they like love her lifestyle and like they're interested in all of those things, but they maybe don't like her songs. So like all of those things, that's what has built Taylor Swift's brand. Like, it's not just one thing or another. And if she would just lean into like only showing herself in the studio or like only showing up on concert and all of that, like she would lose so much of that like fandom. The Swifties would not exist because they want to know like what she's like after she gets LASIK eye surgery. Like, that's what they really want to know.
I remember during football season, every single game, my best friend who's obsessed with Taylor Swift would send me screenshots, like several things. And I am not a huge Swiftie. I love her, but I'm not like you. But every weekend it was like I was just right there with all of the Swifties. Like, she would send me everything about like, oh my God, her outfit. Oh my God, oh my God, there she is with Travis. And I'm like, yeah, we want to see the behind the scenes, like the real life stuff. We don't just want to see the picture that was taken by the paparazzi and put in News magazine or whatever Instagram account. Like, we want to see the real stuff. Or I remember after he won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, there was a TikTok video of them at a club in Vegas, and people just went wild over this authentic video
Yes.
that was like from her camera. I think her dad was even in it.
Yep. Yep. Her parents were in it. All the
It's
things.
interesting. I don't really follow her like heavily like you guys do, but that's the thing I remember is the video she took after the Super Bowl. None of the polished like, and I always want to say this. When we say polished, you can 100% be polished and have a personality. They are not mutually exclusive by any means. In fact, I think not the more, but like having a personality can equate to being more polished because someone actually feels like, okay, who are you? You're not just these like junk graphics or junk templates. Like, templates exist to help us, but not to like replace who we are as a human. I have another example to kind of build this image or this picture. There is a food creator, Olivia Nocita, and I'll link this in the show notes. But the other day I found her and she had a video where in the beginning of the video it said dinner for one. So if you look at the reel itself, it just says, I have my light right there, dinner for one. When you click on it, it's like pouring pasta into a bowl with cottage cheese. But then here she is showing herself on camera. And there's a voiceover on top, which I probably won't play because it'll be hard to hear. But if you go listen to this, her voiceover is talking about how this is like her comfort meal. She had it growing up when her dad would work late. Her and her mom would eat this. It was like pasta with cottage cheese and salt and pepper, like super simple. And then she starts talking about how she's going to go watch Love Island now. And I thought, what if that piece of content, this is how her whole feed is. What if that piece of content was a picture of noodles with cottage cheese on top and some pepper and the recipe in the caption? And she didn't share like why she loves this meal, what it reminds her of, what she's doing tonight while she eats it. You might be like, that looks good, and I'm going to screenshot it because it's food, which is different than other industries. But you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I love her. I want to watch the next video. When I found her, I was on her account for, I swear, 15, 20 minutes, like binging all of her fun videos like that had personality. So when we say personality, it can mean something as simple as you're showing yourself in the piece of content. That's personality because no one can else can be you in a video, right? It doesn't mean you have to dance. The other thing I thought was cool about this video is she had on like a fun like pajama set, and that kind of even led into like her personality of like what's she wearing. Like you take someone who has a very neutral brand, and that you can still be so neutral. I think of like Savon Ayla. She's super neutral. She loves her neutrals, black, white, tan, but it still gives personality because of how she portrays it, how she wears the things, how her house is decorated, the look and curation of her feed. It has this neutral luxury vibe, but it doesn't mean it's boring. It's very polished. Like both of these people are very polished, but it's still, you can tell like if you would see their piece of content in the wild, you'd be like, "Oh, that's Olivia. Oh, that's Savan." And that's the idea. And not to have like not to say that with meaning you need this like overly curated professional video content in your feed that someone can be like, "Oh, there it's branded to Chelsea, it's branded to Nike." But the point is they're gonna see it and be like, it's familiar. It's like, "Oh, there she is again." That's what I'm expecting to see.
Yeah. Well, the whole point of branding anyway is to give people something to relate to, something that they see themselves in. And this is why, like, it's a non negotiable for real estate agents anymore because how many agents are in every community anyway, right? Like thousands of agents. And so, like, if you are going to stand out, you have to do a heck of a lot more than send a postcard every month. Like, it's time to really step it up. And let me just say, having this personal brand and understanding how to add your personality to your brand, it doesn't just start and end with social media. Like, first of all, it also includes your email list and all of that, but also like this is how you present yourself at closings. This is how you present yourself at showings and where you're meeting people, the experience that you're giving them, their client gift, all the things. Like it should be all encompassing. And so if you're thinking right now, like this feels really daunting or I'm not that interesting or whatever, I'll just let you in on a little secret. You already have a brand. Like you're already making people feel a certain way and you're already making people connect with you over certain things. You just have to pause and like take note of those things and then figure out how to lean into them. So like I know for like myself, like when I say like, I don't know, like I read some books and like we watch football games, well, guess what? Like we have the football staff over all the time and all is so funny. Every time the boys go to the living room to watch the highlights and us girls stand around the island and eat snacks and talk. Through that conversation, we all started talking about how we all like books. Then we started our Lazy Girls book club where we all just talk about whatever books that we're doing. So like that's a normal transition. And so there are times when I feel like even for myself, like, oh, I'm not that interesting. But when I share what I'm reading or when I share like having the football staff over, like people are interested. Like they think that's so fun. Where to me, it's just like a Friday night. Like it's not a big deal. But like those are the points where you can build connection with people and you can have like those talking points and people want to know things about. So we have to like stop talking bad in our minds. We have to like stop believing these lies that like, oh, no one cares because people do care.
We need some affirmations. I have like
Yes.
a thing I want to read from Threads, which is kind of a segue, but we'll circle back. So it's Jess.Andrea, and she said, one of my favorite ways to build excitement on the sales page. So like, okay, this is going a little bit different of a direction, but I want you to pull it back into like what this would mean for social media is tell them what happens after they join or tells them in real estate, tell them what happens after they become a client, buy their new house. We always have lists of like the what if you're ready to dreamy future could look like. But what happens like literally immediately after they join, like painting that picture of like when you work with me, this is exactly what's going to happen. And pulling that into your content, that's also personality because you're showing your system, your way of doing things. It is rare that I'm seeing on Instagram an agent share like visually this is what's going to happen. I'm sending you this email or like this is the questionnaire I send for you to fill out so that I can learn these 3 to 5 things or whatever. But like what does the first week look like if they decide to work with you? Where do you meet them? Like what does like imagine wanting to buy a house and you don't really have a go-to agent and you're like, "Well, what does this even look like? Do we meet like at their office? Do we meet at a coffee shop? Do they come over?" Like you don't really know like what to expect. How quickly are things going to get going? Like how quickly can they see results is what this quote says. What can they access immediately? So maybe like upon getting on your email list is another example. They get instant access to your local guide or they get instant access to this showings that sell or resource or something. make their desired future feel tangible on the other side of the decision. So like if you want someone to reach out, it's so important for them to know like, well, what is it like to work with you? Like show me in some way. I think of Brian Buhl, BUHL realtor. She is a great example of polished professional with personality. And she a lot of times will share things like, you know, we're meeting a new client and it's like a glass of wine and whatever. Or she'll say like, "Hey, do you want to meet for coffee?" Or even better, a glass of wine. She has this post right here that says she talked about what kind of home she's in the market for and she listened on what her client's dream home needs are, and it's 2 glasses of wine. So like just that simple, and not that you have to have wine, but like that's her brand. That's what she pulled into her brand. So it's kind of just showing someone like the casualness of like, "Hey, like this isn't where you're going to come talk to me and I'm going to make you sign a contract tomorrow. Like you can start the conversation." And I think letting people know that they can start the conversation is one of the easiest ways to just get people in your world about real estate without like they may not be ready tomorrow, but you don't really want everyone to be ready tomorrow, or what business are you going to have in December?
Right.
Like
Right.
you want to build
Exactly.
out the whole point of social media and email marketing is so that you're building a pipeline that funnels your business or fuels your business all year long every year without having to worry like where is my next client coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you prefaced that whole thing by saying maybe someone doesn't have a go-to realtor and maybe they look to you. Let's say that someone does have a go-to realtor. Let's say that their family has all used the same agent for 30 plus years, okay? And not that there's anything wrong with that. In fact, that's very commendable for that agent, right? But what if someone who has an agent like that suddenly starts seeing you showing up in local spots that you like to frequent, showing up, with their kids in tow and they're going to the park and they're doing all like talking about the books they're reading, and all of a sudden you're connecting with them, and then they're showing you like, hey, like when I meet my clients, like this is where we meet and this is what I send them, and every client closing gift gets this little candle or whatever. Like even if, okay, maybe that's superficial, but the bottom line is someone like me would be like, well, I want to do all those things. Like that looks like fun. And here's the bottom line. I'm only going to move probably once every 7 to 10 years. So like if my chance is coming up to work with them, I don't want to miss out. Like I want to like jump in on that, and like those kind of touch points, even if it's something as simple as like reply, like when an agent replies to an email or like schedules the closing and all of that. If you are showcasing those things on your stories and in your email and like all of those things, you're creating FOMO for all the other people who are watching from outside thinking like, I want in, like I want to work with you, I want to experience that.
Do you ever get to the end of a podcast episode and feel like, ugh, now I have to wait until next Tuesday for more?
Are you asking me or our listeners?
I mean, I was asking our listeners, but now I'm curious. Do you feel that way too?
Honestly, I might. I mean, if it weren't for Modern Agent Social Club, because members get to be in the middle of marketing conversations like this every single day.
That's true. For our members, it's basically Marketing Girl Summer.
Exactly. Like, sun's out, strategy's out.
So if you love the podcast, maybe you've already started trying a few things and you're seeing results, but just imagine how much more momentum you could build inside the club.
Because the podcast is where we talk strategy, but inside Modern Agent Social Club, like, of course, you're going to get great content, as I do say so myself. But more than that, you're going to get a results-driven marketing plan.
Carousels and reel prompts and emails, it's all great, but how do they all work together to make you the real estate go-to girl? That's why we provide you with an entire marketing system so you don't have to figure out how all these pieces connect.
So if you're tired of waiting a whole week between episodes and you're tired of DIYing your real estate marketing, make this your most fun and productive summer yet.
And join us today at modernagentsocialclub.com for your first official Marketing Girl Summer. Now back to the show. That's the answer. It's you're creating that before someone even needs you.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do because you're building that trust on the front end. Like I wrote this down too. In a world where everyone is templating and trending and trying to be the most polished version of professional, the agent who shows up with personality, that's the one we trust. Because if you think about it, the people we trust are the ones we relate to. The ones like it's the other mom with kids of the same age. It's the other person we love to golf with that also is in the same phase of life as us. Like those are the people we start to trust, and that's who we want like advice from. That's who we want to tell us like they understand us, they get it. And that's why even like when you mentioned local, it brought this to mind. Sharing like your own version of local is another way to add personality that can still be presented in a polished way. I think about a lot of people get hung up on like, what should I share that's local? Like my town's too small, it's too big, it's too this, it's too that. What do I share? Like what do I focus on? And I always say, share the things you are doing. Don't try to be the Google version of your city or the even ChatGPT version of your city. Be the version of your city that you are living, because people are going to think like I'm talking in the context of like, here's where my family always goes for the 4th of July. Here's what we love to do in the summer in this city. Here's my date night go to with my spouse. Like sharing things like that. And this can be in stories. It's not like you have to make a whole feed about local content if you don't want to. It's more about like just being that local, being that community person that someone they're like, "Oh, she lives here too." Like she gets it. She knows about the school district. She knows about all the different things that we could do or places we could go. So I think not overthinking what personality means. It's what you're doing anyways. Like Kayla, you just said this. You're like, you already have a brand. It's are you bringing it to life, or is it hiding behind a graphic or hiding behind your broker's colors or hiding behind anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I think to the small town girls who are listening, who are thinking like there's nothing interesting, I think sometimes small towns are actually the most interesting places to look at. Like, so I grew up in a small town as well, but now my husband and I are like transplants to another small town. And some of the things that our community, like all of our friends are all high school sweethearts. Some of the things that they talk about that they like grew up doing, or the things that they're like, oh yeah, we always do this or ever, like it cracks us up. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. Even like the one thing that we started doing that is actually, I mean, it's super fun, but there's a band in town that some of our like Brett's students' parents are in it, and then some of their other people, and they like do all these like really great cover songs. So they'll play at this place called Portside Pizza. Kristen Scheckler, if you're listening, and it's like a small, teeny tiny lake that's like 15 minutes from here. This place is nothing fancy, okay, and it is packed every time All Gone Blue go start to play it. And like, what do? Like, we all like jump in my neighbor's Suburban and we're all like go in there and like get the kids babysitters and all of that. And we're there forever, like singing like stupid covers of songs, but like it's so fun. And like they're like our own like small town celebrities. And that's like so funny. And I think like we would discount that by being like, well, we don't have really cool venues, or like we don't have a place with like a crazy menu with like Instagrammable like option. Like none of that is here either. But guess what? Like this is what we do, and it's actually really fun. And like people who live here or people who would want to move here, that's what they want to know. Like they don't want to know the things that they can, like what you said. Like they don't want to know the things that they can just Google and be like, what's on the menu here? Or like what are the local events? They want to know like where's everybody going on a Saturday night in the middle of summer? Like where's this place? But I hear all this music coming from. That's what they want to know.
The description of that reminds me of in all the Ellen Hildebrand books, there's a place called the Chicken Box where they go like it's like the bar, like the late night music, but like total dive bar.
Oh
I
yes.
wish I went there when we were there and we didn't because we didn't have a car. So we were kind of more like right in town the whole
Oh, it's a
time.
real place. It's a
It's
real
a real
place.
place. Yeah, everything in her books are real. So that's why I wanted to go so bad. I'm like, I need all these places to come to life and go to them. But yeah, the Chicken Box, it's like Nantucket's beautiful and would be an amazing, obviously, like place to create content around, but you don't have to live in Nantucket to create content. Even Nantucket has a chicken box, like a place like that everyone wants to hang out at night, and it's not glamorous or fancy or anything special. It's the fact that it's local. Like that's what people forget. I think of my grandma and grandpa, and my grandma's still alive, lives in this small tiny town called Guthrie Center, Iowa. There is nothing there really. I mean, like it is so, so, so small. There's like a cemetery, a school, gas station, pizza place called Bretto, which our whole family just loves. And we're always like, can we get Bretto pizza when we go here? But there's like nothing there. And it's like I just love it. Like, and if even if I lived there, I would have so much content to create here. It would be like the wooden playground, the pine room was the bar that our parents would go to, like which a block from my grandma and grandpa's house, and I would stay home and babysit the little kids. Like, there's just so much nostalgic like content there that it's so tiny, and there are towns around it, and there is a bigger city 35 minutes away, but I wouldn't feel like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. I would constantly talk about the same places. I would get Bretto pizza for my clients and deliver it on closing day. I would go to the local grocery store and get like my bottle of champagne. Like I can't remember the name of their grocery store. But it's just like you have to lean into it and leverage what's there and don't feel like if you feel I just saw this idea. And I feel like I'm so into BTL copy right now because and Adrienne does her podcast too. But BTL copy said this in an email. If you can't think, I want you to write down 10 ideas of content in your exact teeny bubble town, even if you think there's nothing there. The post office is content, by the way. And she said, if you can't think of 10, I want you to write down 30.
Oh.
Because if you're trying to think of 10, and you can't, you're probably overthinking it. But if you have to, you cannot leave where you're sitting right now until you think of 30 things in your town. You're going to think of 30 things in your town.
Yep. That's so good. I love that
I
so
know.
much.
I'm like, I'm gonna always remember that. Like, if you ever feel stumped with like a content idea or like, what should I put in this email? What should I put as my even, I don't know, like your bio, that'd be a lot to write 30
Yeah.
bios. But you know what I mean? Like, write
Yeah.
30.
Yeah. You know, another good exercise for agents listening right now would be open up your camera roll and look back. Don't just look back on the last like year, but look at like the last like 2 years, 3 years. Look at the kinds of things that you're taking photos of. And like, I would look back through mine. I would see like lots of photos in the summer by us with the pool or getting ice cream, or obviously in the fall it would be football. Winter, we always go to Disney World. Like, when you start to see those things, that is your brand. And through that, you're going to notice local things, like the number of like times I take pictures of my kids at the park, or yeah, we go to Portside Pizza or wherever else. Like, when we start to like look at what we're actually like stopping to take photographs of, that's probably a signal that like those things should be included in our brand.
I love looking at your camera roll. And if you're someone who like, even if you don't take pictures,
Right.
look at your calendar. Like, what have you done in the last month? Like, where have you gone? Like, what events do you always go to? Like, I don't go to every event in our area. I don't go, I mean, like, I was getting my hair done this week and my hairstylist said something about Summerfest. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about Summerfest. Like, it's the biggest music festival in Milwaukee. I haven't gone in years. And it's like, I don't have to talk about Summerfest to talk about local content. Like, I don't go to Summerfest. So I don't need to make a whole post about Summerfest. If I'm an agent, I would do like, here's Night on the Farm that I always go to that's right down the street from our farm and that we love. Like, I don't need to talk about everything. And like the other thing I want to mention with I think coming back to what's personal, what is professional, how do you blend them together? I think this is a good thing to remember, or a good like not metric, but a good reminder is like you could post every single day and you could still be forgettable. You could still have content that no one's going to remember.
That like, hold on. Doesn't that hurt just a little bit? Like, that, like, it kind of makes me sad, but go on.
It's like a dagger. It's
Yeah.
it's like when someone says something at church and you're like, I'm so guilty of that.
Right.
Whoops. Like that type of a thing. Like, you can post every day and still be forgettable, but what are you posting? And are you posting things that are actually reflective of your life, your way of doing business, your client experience, your family? And again, personal doesn't mean sharing every detail of your life. Like Kayla and I, our story at the beginning, our little elevator pitch, our little blurb, it wasn't every detail of our lives. Like, it was just a little splash. And that's what, if I want you to picture, if you're making a drink and you put all the ingredients in your cocktail and you add a splash of lemon, a splash of lime, a splash of whatever, like that's your personality squeezed in. It can be that small, but it's going to you have to do something to differentiate yourself from every other agent out there. And I think when we hear that, we think it feels like we need to do something drastic. Like, oh, I need to be the realtor the reading realtor who loves books. I'm going to make every single thing I do themed to books. Like, that's not what it means at all. It can simply mean sharing here's the book we're reading before bed tonight in your stories. Like Kayla said, it doesn't even have to be in your content necessarily. It can just be this like little subtle splash, this little subtle squeeze of who you are. And like when we overthink it, like someone just said to me the other day, I don't even have a go-to beverage. And I'm like,
liar.
What are you
You're a
drinking
liar
right now?
Right.
Like, you don't need to like brand a beverage to yourself, or you don't need to brand an activity to yourself.
Right.
I think like we overthink it, but what are we actually doing? Like, again, you're living your brand every day. Where did you go to dinner last weekend? What are your plans for the next holiday? I know it's the 4th of July when we're recording, but when this airs, it will not be. What are you doing for Labor Day? Like, like, where's your next family vacation? What do you do when you meet up with your friends? Like, where's your local spot in town? Like, all those things are your brand, and you don't have to share all of them. That's not what I'm saying, but
No.
it's how can you bring in little pieces that add that little garnish, that little splash?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. You think about creating a cocktail and you have certain measurements of certain ingredients, and some ingredients you're gonna have more of than others. You don't put in every single thing that you like. Like, I'm not gonna like make what do they call that? Is that like a is there a name for that? Like a hurricane or tornado or something where you like literally like put in everything? But like you don't just you don't take a bucket and like pour in like, well, I like water and I like electrolytes and I like Dr. Pepper and I like that would taste horrible. But you intentionally choose a few things and like craft your brand. And that's what we're talking about. And we help our agents do this through we have like a modern agent starter pack that kind of walks them through this. But honestly, like even if you're listening now, a lot of these ideas you should be able to piece together. Write down 30 places in your town, like 30 things you like to do. Go through your camera rolls, take note of what you're taking photos of. Like those two things alone are going to totally like give you like a whole new like outlook on like what your brand could be. I do want to play devil's advocate here for a minute. What about the agents who say, my broker wants me to be more professional, or my broker thinks I'm not being professional enough? What is your response to that?
Tell your broker to come and talk to us. I'll give you my cell phone number. I'm just kidding. With anything like that, you need to bring them receipts. So you need to bring them the proof of here's my feed of professional, what we think is professional, which really is called alienating. If you're scrolling on social media, Mr. Broker, what did you just stop on last? Was it someone's message about how to hire an attorney or how to get your next insurance agent? Or was it a post about your favorite football team or the local band playing this weekend? And like, why did you stop there? Or like, who did you use as your name a different industry, not real estate? Like, who did you go to when you wanted a financial advisor? Like, is it the guy you golf with, or was it the billboard that you passed down the highway? And it's typically never the billboard. And I think the other thing to tell them, this is what you tell them too. Social media was never designed to be it is a marketing tool, but it wasn't designed to be a a sales pitch tool. It's designed to be the meet and greet and the handshake. And we're never meeting and greeting and handshaking if we're leading with a sales pitch or we're leading with a just listed or a just sold. We're handshaking and meeting and greeting when they feel like, oh, like I can relate to that, or I feel seen in that. I feel like you get me. I feel like, yeah, we hang out there too. And it's not about removing the real estate. Like I would argue that in your cocktail glass, real estate is your biggest ingredient. So if you're making I don't make cocktails. I only drink one.
I don't either.
I'm like, if you're making
A Jack and Coke. That's an easy
okay,
one
Jack and
because
Coke, like the
mostly
Coke,
Coke. Yeah.
the Coke is going to be the real estate, right? Or
Right.
depending on who you are.
Yes.
But like you're going to have that's your biggest splash. There's going to be no mistaking that you're an agent, but the meet and greet part is that you are sharing, like you're leading with more than that. You're leading with how am I going to turn this into a conversation, not like who's going to hire me because I posted 80 times a week that I sell real estate. All you're going to do with that is you're going to make someone turn the other way because you're like, well, that's not for me right now. Because Mr. Broker also needs to understand that most people that we know, they're not moving right now, but everyone we know knows someone who is. So how do we get those referrals and make you, Mr. Broker, more money? Because that's how you're going to do it. It's not going to be through alienating them with content that isn't relevant.
Right. I mean, yeah, you either support me here working for you or I'll just go work for someone else. That's how I feel too. I love this example of the Wendy's restaurant. So I found this whole story the other day and it was all about like in 2017, there was a tweet that went out that someone was like making fun of Wendy's, saying like the troll said, we all know that we laugh at your slogan, fresh, never frozen, right? So Wendy's said, no, like we really do. It's how it is. And so he responded and said, so what? You deliver it raw on a hot truck? And the girl responded and said, where do you store the cold things that aren't frozen? And so the exchange went on and he said, you guys should give up. McDonald's has you all beat. And Wendy said, you don't have to bring them into this just because you forgot that refrigerators existed for a second there. And everyone went wild. Like everyone like was retweeting it like crazy, whatever. And through that exchange, even the guy who was like trolling them even came back and was like, okay, that was really good. But through that exchange, they were able to like create this like brand voice. And it ended up, this is so interesting. The net income at that time was 129.6 million, which, you know, still that's not bad. But in 2017, it went up to 194 million. So like just the increase and like people started going to them and like retweeting them, engaging with them, keeping them top of mind because they responded personally and they responded like a human instead of this like, we're sorry that you were unsatisfied with our, you know what I mean? Like they started adding all of this stuff. Another example that they did, McDonald's, I guess, accidentally tweeted something that said Black Friday, and then it said need copy and link. Okay, so it wasn't supposed to go out because it wasn't ready yet, but they tweeted it. And Wendy's retweeted with, when the tweets are as broken as the ice cream machine.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
so funny.
yes, and so like all of that, and through this, they like created community. There was actually one guy who like tweeted at them one time saying something about like, how many retweets do I need to get free nuggets for a year? And they responded and said like 18 million. Well, he hit like 3 million, ended up like breaking the record for like the most retweets ever, and they still ended up giving him free nuggets for a year. But like every year around that time, they come back and say like, hey Carter, like how's it going? Like, are you sick from all our nuggets yet? You know, and like kind of teasing with them. So I put this into Chat GPT and I was like, okay, like tell me what agents can learn from this. And it said like they have to remember that agent or that Wendy's did not constantly sell burgers. They created culture and community first, which is what a personal brand does. So it said agents should be sharing their day, their local finds, and relatable behind the scenes moments. Even something as simple as like showing a photo of your laundry basket and being like, this will sit here all week. You know what I mean? Like just something that's like, oh yeah, like that's me too. Or yeah, if you are a more polished brand, you know, you can share those things. I'm not a polished person, so I can't even give an example. But if you're like, I would never buy a car without, you know, heated and cooling seats or whatever it is, like that's relatable. People who are like you are going to be like, oh my gosh, me too. And it said mix real estate tips in with personality. Funny, I've heard that before. Build trust and familiarity so people think of you when they're ready to buy or sell. And it said this doesn't mean that you have to be funny. It means you have to be human. Adrian, insert a mic drop.
I'm so obsessed with this. The underlying word is human. I will like go. I get so excited about these things because we've been talking about this for 7 years. Like maybe we haven't had this podcast for 7 years, but we've been talking about it for 7 years. I just recently saw someone say something like, "Oh my gosh, like make real estate more about lifestyle," like an aha moment. And I was like, "Wait, if you're just catching on to this now, what did you say?" You're like, "You're so behind." But honestly, like I don't want you to feel behind. I want you to feel empowered by this because I know the norm in the real estate industry more than anywhere is to conform to this box mold version of what an agent should look like and sound like and what they should post and that they should post their listings and they should look like be in their blazer and their headshot pantsuit outfit and they should, which is fine, wear whatever you want, wear whatever's you. And that you should show up in this very curated way. But again, like what we talked about, what we would tell Mr. Broker is you can show up looking like that, but if there's not a way to for someone to feel like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I know her and I've never met her." If someone can't say that about your content, you're missing out on clients. And that's like what I hate. I see that with people and I'm like, "Oh, I just like so badly want you to just try something a little bit different." And I kind of have a little test you can put it through. Next time you post something, ask yourself, does this sound like me? Like, would you say that thing? Does it build trust? And would I want to work with this person? Like simply asking yourself, like, would I want to work with this person? If you're like, well, I don't know, then maybe you need to like loosen it up a little bit. I have another really good example that I've noticed recently, and we've talked about this, Kayla, is Amy Porterfield. I love Amy Porterfield, but she was always very, in my opinion, very overly polished and kind of robotic. I think she said very brilliant things. I think she's so smart. She has such good advice. Her podcast is really good. She asks her guests really good questions, but I always felt like just her in general, I'm like, it's too robotic for me sometimes. And she's recently come to that realization herself, and she's shifting the way she's doing things. just in the car this morning, my husband said, I read Amy's email yesterday and I haven't opened one of her emails in a really long time and it was really good. She seems like a little bit more, like down to earth with it or something. And I said, that's what I was just telling Kayla. And she just did an episode that I highly recommend listening to. And it's called Is Your Copy Too Safe? And we can link it in the show notes. But I want you to listen to it and also think of the context, like obviously copy and the way you write and talk and all of that. But is your content too safe? Are you hiding behind the graphics? Are you hiding behind just your listings? Like, it's okay to talk about those things. It's okay to share your real estate knowledge, but is it too safe? Is it too neutral for everyone? And Amy's podcast, she said, or the copy that works is the copy that feels a little risky. If your message feels neutral, it's likely you're playing it too safe. The copy that truly resonates often feels a little vulnerable to write, and that's what makes it powerful. So that the people that send in questions that say things like, I feel like my personality is making my brand unprofessional. If it feels a little risky, you're probably on the right track. And again, you need to define for yourself what does professional mean to me and what am I wanting to share? And I think sometimes what we can get sidetracked with is if we're constantly sharing trends, we're constantly doing, silly audios and or we're making posts that have really nothing to do with anything. Like if you took a picture of your dog and you were like, happy Saturday, like, yeah, that's kind of random, probably not necessary. Like figure out how could we weave that in a little bit more to real estate in that content cocktail. Do we know what episode
Yeah.
it is to share to go listen to?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. We'll put it in the show notes. The content cocktail episode is like that cocktail we keep talking about where you have the ingredients all in one glass, all in one drink, so that you're not alienating, you're not random where it doesn't make sense. It all kind of comes together. I also thought of just this really simple example. I created this piece of content for Instagram once, and it was like how to bring people behind the scenes of real estate real. And in it, I did like a mock-up of like my day in the life as an agent. And at the end, I said, like, we always get pub subs on closing day. Okay, I don't live where there's pub subs, but I would die for a pub sub in my city. And so I just did that for fun because I had some video content of us having pub subs in Florida. And I was like, just something simple like that. Like if your family gets pub subs, if Kayla's family gets Chick-fil-A to host the whole football team, and you just put that in your stories or you weave it in like that, like on like here, day in the life of a closing day or what I'm getting after my closing for dinner for the whole family, our celebration, whatever. Like making it fun like that, or maybe you get them for your buyers or your sellers or whatever your routine is. Like just simply showing that, like that's a grocery store sub sandwich. It's not a local extravagant thing. Like it's just something really simple. So like pop that into that really polished looking photo of you. Like eating a pub sub, bring it to your photo shoot. Like bring the subs to your photo shoot. It will make your content resonate. I always think of Shannon McKinstry has like an Outer Banks beach house now, and she always is eating pub subs on the beach. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm vicariously living through you. I want to be on the beach with a pub sub so bad. But it's like people who love pub subs, they're like, give me the pub, like it's just a thing.
Right.
And
It's
that's
the
a
thing.
local thing. It's still local, even though it's a chain situation.
Yep, exactly. I love this, Chelsea. I feel like we could talk about this for another 5 hours at least, but it is time to wrap this up. What would you say if you had to give an agent just one thing to do for homework for this episode? What would you tell them to do?
I want you to, this is so simple, but if you just open your phone, and maybe you do this anyways, and make a to-do list for your day tomorrow and think about what's on there. Like, even if you don't have anything in your camera roll, you're like, I don't write on my calendar. Like, if I'm going to take all your excuses away, write a to-do list for tomorrow and what's on it. And I want you to write everything. Like, if you have a dentist appointment, if you have a closing, if you're picking up pizza for your buyers, whatever it is. And some days are very not glamorous, right? But there's still something in there. It might be you're going to swim lessons. It might be you're meeting someone to play a round of golf. Like, put it on your list. And then I want you to show on your stories the things that were on that list. Even if you go to the dentist, put it on there and tag the dentist or put the dentist name if they don't have an Instagram. And maybe say not just like random, say something you like about it. Like, oh, we love this dentist for our kids because they have TVs and they make it really fun and play good music or whatever. Like give some context to the photo you're putting on your stories. I share this strategy all the time, so it's nothing new, but I feel like people just need to try this because it's going to help you get out of your shell. It's going to help you take away the excuse of, oh, I don't really remember to take content. You're going to tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday and you're going to take the content. And if you have, maybe you're just making mac and cheese for dinner because you had a really busy day and you had soccer. Take a picture of soccer and talk about like, we're doing a really easy dinner because soccer goes till 8. And then share, here's my mac and cheese. It's actually really good when you put sriracha on it, whatever. Like, just share your life behind the scenes, and it's going to help you figure out. Because a lot of times people get stuck because they're like, well, I don't know what I want to bring into my brand. I don't know which piece. You're going to kind of see, because you'll notice people will respond to very random things. And you might see like, okay, well, maybe I should always share what I get at Trader Joe's. Maybe I should always start sharing when I go to that local coffee shop in the morning. Maybe I should always start sharing when I'm at soccer practice. And that's going to help you think like, okay, I'm just going to lean into that. And that's just because I do it all the time and it's in my routine. I'm going to share it. And you don't have to you shouldn't have to force it to be part of your brand. It should feel very natural.
Yeah. And if at the end of the day, you've listened to all of this and you're still thinking, but girls, I need clients. I need to sell houses. Understand, we're not telling you this to make you look cool on the internet. Like, we're telling you this because this is how it's done. Like, if you want clients, if you don't want to be on a hamster wheel chasing after, 2-week later closings all the time and like anyone who will hire you, but you want to actually have a business that has systems and boundaries and allows you to have a life, allows you to go to soccer practice without feeling guilty for saying that you had an appointment and you couldn't show a house right that very second. This is how you do it. And like, it's not fluffy. It actually is very strategic and it is the long game. This is how you get clients for life. So
if it feels like a silly story, like, oh, I'm just putting this silly thing in my stories, just remember that silly stories are what result in instant messages, direct messages that turn into clients and referrals. That is where it comes from. It doesn't come from a post. Like, again, like we said, you can post every day and it could do nothing for you. It could be completely forgettable, scroll right by it. So the more you can just try to lean into who you are, more than even like creating and curating a piece of content, like start on your stories. It's the simplest way to get that feel of like, oh, people do relate. You're right. They are responding to me. That's how it's going to work.
Yeah. I love it. Chelsea, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening. And what's your line, Chelsea?
We will see you next Tuesday. I almost forgot. I was like, wait, what's my line?
It's been a while. Dust off your mic.
I'm feeling reinvigorated now. I'm excited to keep recording.
Yes, for sure. All right, guys. We'll see ya.
See ya. I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.